Hello. I came here to give you a little update on my life. The last time I did one of these vlogs was in September 2021, where I talked about how I have mental issues, I have autism, and I got kicked out of my middle school because of this angry personality that I wanted to get rid of for so long, but it never went away, and it never will go away, in my opinion. I'm not very proud of that video because while I expressed all of my big problems and my emotions that I had at the time, I made it, I recorded it right after I got the message that I got kicked out of middle school. And that was more out of anger and spite and sadness. I wasn't entirely sure about how to react at that time. But now, it's been a year and a half, and I can safely tell you that everything has gotten worse. After I got kicked out of middle school, I went to a special school for special people because that was the only school that would accept me. This school is full of people that have either already went to regular schools or were never accepted into regular schools. And they have to be here because they would not get accepted into a normal school because of the personality disorders that they have. And while there's lots of people here who need help, the thing is, there are still plenty of people in this school, especially from the 9th to 12th grade, who can take care of themselves. And so there are lots of bullies, and the thing is, for a long time, it was not easy going. I had bullies, but fortunately, I was able to not take them seriously. I could talk back to them because I had gained confidence since I got kicked out of my last school. But I still got into a lot of trouble because this angry personality kept coming out, like at random. But the thing is, I have been able to hold it together, and now it's been a year and a half, and I can talk to a lot of people in my school. There are still people there who I absolutely dislike, but I am in good terms with most people in that school, especially the ones who I like. And even some people who I dislike in that school, I still talk to sometimes, which is pretty unbelievable in my opinion. So I am actually now in a new school. I have to clear that up because it's been a year and a half since I told you I got kicked out. And yes, since November of 2021, I have been going to a new school. And there's loads of people I hate there, and there's loads of people that I really like there. But my main problem in the last few months was nothing related to the school. You see, in the last few years, my grandmother's health has been declining. And sometimes we had to go to her house because she suddenly got sick, and without even planning it, we had to go to her house because she needed our help. My mother took care of her as much as she could, and I helped her out as much as she could. But her health had just been declining. In the summer of last year, she turned 80 years old, and she had already been telling us that she wanted to leave this earth so she doesn't have to feel any more pain. And she had told us that so many times that I was getting quite scared of what was to come in the future. But in December, when I turned 18 years old, my grandmother started feeling a little bit better again. And that was going fine for a while. But then, on Christmas morning, December 25th, she woke up and she felt really sick again. My mother and I still don't know if it was the Christmas dinner that we ate last night or if it was something else, but she had started to feel sick again. And once again, we helped her as much as we could. And then we left my grandmother there with my father for a couple of days because we went to visit my godparents. And after we visited my godparents, me and my mother went back to my grandmother's for New Year's. And she was feeling a little bit better, but still, she was not feeling great. My father was not with my grandmother at this time because he was working in Vienna. My grandmother assured us that she would be fine. So, January 3rd, we left her there and we went back home. And then the next morning, we got a call saying that my grandmother got incredibly sick in the morning and she had to go to the hospital. My mother was so shocked. And so my father came back from Vienna and my mother went to my grandmother's village, to her house, and she visited her in the hospital for a few days while my father was here with me in Budapest. My mother had always told my grandmother that she should call the hospital, but my grandmother never wanted to call the hospital, and now she had to. Me and my father said that we would go to my grandmother's village on Saturday, January the 7th, because my father wanted to visit my grandmother in the hospital. But unfortunately, that morning, on the 7th of January, my grandmother passed away. I could not believe it. I really couldn't believe it. But it happened. I've kind of predicted it already. I've thought about it. I already knew that there was a chance that she would pass away because she probably knew that when she would go into the hospital, she wouldn't come out of there alive. And that's why she never called the hospital. Because she knew about it. She knew that if she went into the hospital, she would not survive. And the depression hit me like an ocean wave. I could not believe that this was real life. My grandmother passed away. My Hungarian grandmother passed away. But I knew deep down that wherever my grandmother was, she was probably with my Hungarian grandfather, who passed away before I was even born. And I knew that I assured myself that wherever they are now together again after 27 years. And yeah, me and my mother were so shocked and saddened by this tragic loss. But we knew it would happen someday. And then school begins again. And I just can't take it. It's insane. It's winter. It's so cold. Every single morning when I go to school, I am freezing. And it just gets worse and worse. So then, the week after my grandmother dies, we arrange her funeral. And on a day that was supposed to be a school day for me, we went to my grandmother's place. So I did not go to school because my grandmother's funeral was on a Friday. And it was the most traumatic thing I have ever experienced in my life. Seeing my grandmother getting buried was just I cannot explain it. I really cannot explain what I felt. And people from all across the family tree came to the funeral. Like, there were so many people. And it was just so strange. And then, after the funeral, we decided to hold lunchtime with our closest family and friends at the bar that was right next to my grandmother's house. And so, to not feel depressed and sad and alone, I talked to a couple of people for a long, long, long time during that lunch. And I felt good talking to those people, but I knew that I would really never overcome this tragic loss. It has been 2 months now since my grandmother passed away. Since then, I've continued going to school. I went to Austria for a little bit. I went to Carinthia and I went to Vienna. But that has not helped me. All of these things that are happening right now, it's just the entirety of the 2020s so far. The first third of the 2020s, from January 2020 to March 2023. these have just been the darkest days of my life so far. And I hope that once I upload this video, a giant weight will be lifted off from my shoulders. Because I really wanted to talk about this for a while now, but I've never had the courage to talk to you about it, except on Twitter for a little bit. And now I made this video. So hopefully, now, I will feel better. I will start getting back to normal. I will try to act like a normal person again. But even if I go outside, even if you see me making jokes, and even if people see me going to concerts, including this Sunday, you will have to know that I have not forgotten about this absolutely awful thing. My grandmother passing away and everything else that has happened in the 2020s. My New Year's resolution for 2023 was apologize to as many people in my life as I can. Apologize for the really awful things I did in the past, for the stupid things I did. And I just hope that I can apologize to as many people as I can that I've known since I was really little. So yes, I will start getting back to normal. But just so you know, I am still pretty sad about what has happened. And I am just never going to overcome this feeling. I am never going to be able to get over this. But I will continue. In February, I already recorded a video, but I thought, you know what? Instead of that, I need to first make a video like this, explaining what had happened. And then I can start getting back to normal and uploading all of these video ideas that I have. So, you will see me getting back to normal in the near future. And so, a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders from making this video, because I had planned about talking about this for weeks and just never had the courage to do it until now. So, I hope you all can understand me, and that's basically it. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye. Take care.